Hello, this is my programming assignment 2. I have chosen to make the budget app. So this is the transaction.h file. I have the attributes as listed from the example, and as well as a constructor and setters and getters. Here is the CPP file with the constructor, setters, getters, as well as the other methods to display and return type. Here is the first derived class with the virtual display and getType function methods from the transaction class, as well as a constructor. And here is its CPP file with the overrided display and the overrided getType. Here is my second derived class, expense transaction.h. It is similar to income transaction in that it is classified as an expense. And here is the CPP file. For my app.h file, my container class with my vector of transaction objects, I have my copy constructor, copy assignment operator, and destructor, as well as the necessary functions for this project. Most of the copy constructor, copy assignment operator, and destructor were heavily inspired by the code that we did in class, and so if you look at the code in Teams, you will see that it's very similar. I added an add income method as well as an add expense method. These pretty much just create a pointer to an object, create the object, and then just push back that into the vector of transaction objects we have. View all transactions. This is also inspired by some class code. We have a calculate balance that just subtracts the expenses from all of our income. And we have view by spending category. This function is a bit more complicated as I had to use a nested loop with some bool variables in order to sort all the expenses by category while I'm going through the vector. Now we have our file IO functions. They're relatively simple, and they are what allow us to save and load from the others to a separate file. Here's my class user that has it's using object composition to have an instance of app, which is going to make this whole thing come together, as well as having all the other necessary functions to help create the main menu in main. For the CPP function, we have the setters and getters for all the attributes, overrided display function, and a function to show savings progress, which does some simple calculations using code from our app, from my app function class. And we also have file IO that saves and loads while using saving and loading from our app class. Here is the start session function, which is essentially our main menu. I use just a simple switch case. And now we have the main.cpp file. This includes our user.h file and includes the menu that leads to the main menu. Now let's run the code. So as you see here, we can load a user profile, create a new user, or end the program. I will create a new user, name them Sal, enter a savings goal of 600, let's say, and we have these 9 options here. So I will just add an income, let's say 500. In January it was work, and let's say it was hard. Now let's add some expenses. Let's say we spent 40 bucks in February. This was for food, and we can call it groceries. We can also add another expense. Let's say $50. Date June. Category food. And let's say you were eating out, so fast food. Now we can view all transactions to see, and we can see all of our transactions here. We can also view spending by category. It'll show that we're spending a total of $90 on food, and we can show how progressive we are towards our savings. As we can see, we're almost 69% of the way there. Well, 68.33, but we still need $190. Okay. Now we can also save our data, view our user profile, because why not? And we can now return to the main menu. What we can do now is we can load the user profile. So let's go with sal data.txt. And as you can see, we are now back in Sal's budget session. We view all transactions, and we can see that they are all there. Now to end the program, we can just return to main menu and exit. And that is my programming assignment 2.